Hi class. In this video, I want to take a few minutes to explain how to use LiveSQL for your SQL programming assignment. And so this week, you're going to be starting with the SQL review assignment, which is posted in the module. And you'll see here that you're going to be asked to do 5 exercises in total for this particular assignment. So in the first one, I'm going to go over the first 2 with you to get you started and then have you work on the rest for this week. But in the first one, you're going to be writing a select statement that returns product ID, product name, and list price from OE.product information table. We're going to be using the order entry schema that is in LiveSQL. So the first thing you want to do is you need to log into your LiveSQL account that you should have created in week 1. So you can either click on Start Coding Now, or you can click on Sign In. Either one is fine. So I'm going to sign in. And then I'm going to click on Start Coding Now. You'll notice sometimes there's a little bit of a lag with LiveSQL. Other times it's faster, so just if it hangs, just give it a few seconds before it responds. So you'll see here in this is the main window you're going to be using to write your SQL code. And up here is the top part is where you actually write the code. And then you'll click the run statement. And then down here is where you're going to see the results, or if your code has errors, you'll get the error messages. So I'm just going to work on the first assignment, which is the select statement, product ID, product name, and list price. So in this first line, I'm going to type in select, product ID, product name, and list price from, and I'm just going to put product information, which is the table. You can put a semicolon. You should probably get in the habit of doing that, but if you're just writing one line of code, you don't have to have it. You only absolutely need to have it if you've got multiple statements occurring. And then I'm going to click Run. So you'll see here, I have an error message, this ORA-00942, table or view does not exist. The reason why I'm getting this error message is because I did not append my table. It's looking for product information in my personal schema, which is what it defaults to, and because I don't have any tables in my schema called product information, it gave me this error message. So to fix this, I'm going to do OE.product information. You can also, if you get an error message, you're not sure what it means, you can always copy paste this and Google it, and you can often get helpful information on how to resolve those error messages. So I'm going to hit Run again. And you'll see down here, I'll make it bigger, this is my results. If I go back to the assignment, I give you a screenshot of what your results should look like. So as long as it's matching, you know you've done it correctly. And in this case, it is matching. Okay, at this point, you want to copy paste this and put it into some kind of editor. I'm going to use Notepad. You can also use Notepad++, whatever you want to use, but I would just put, whenever you have a working statement, put it somewhere else. Your LiveSQL session can sometimes time out. Like if you walk away and come back, you'll notice you'll get your session has expired and you have to log back in and you will lose what you've done. So that's why I'm recommending that you save your work somewhere else as you're working on it. It's also a good idea to do one statement at a time. And that way it's easier to diagnose any issues you're having or error messages that you're getting. Okay, so I'm going to delete this out now. Well, actually, I'm going to leave this here because I'm going to go back to my assignment. If you go to number 2, it's asking me to add an order by clause to the query we just did that sorts the result by list price in descending order. Okay, so let me go back here. I'm going to get rid of my semicolon. And I'm going to put order by list price descending. And I'm going to run that. And that's working. So if I go back and check it, you'll see that the screenshots here, it is matching what I am getting. So I've done it correctly. Again, I'm going to take that and I'm going to put this over here in my notepad and come back here. Now, as you're working on things, you'll get most of your errors in the beginning are usually you've got some syntax errors, such as you've misspelled something. So let's say I misspell list price and I try to run it, it's going to give me an error. Or if you have things in the wrong order in terms of how SQL wants you to present things, like having your select statement, then your from statement, your order by. And as we get into more things, you'll see there's more arguments that you can put in there. So when you're ready to submit your homework and you've done all the statements, one thing I want you to do is I want you to clean up your code, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I hit save right now, I'm just going to call this homework 1. And I'm going to make it, I need you to make it unlisted so that I can actually see it. Otherwise, if you keep it private, I'm not going to be able to view it. And then the description, just put in homework 1 for your name. And I'm going to save it. And then here you see it's going to give me a link. This is what you're going to put into the Dropbox. However, before you do that, I want you to take a look at what's going on here. You'll notice it has all these different statements. Some are the correct statements, some are errors that we got. It makes it difficult for me if you have all these additional statements, and you'll notice as we get into other homework assignments, you might have multiple statements as you try to do different things. So there's a couple different ways to do this. One, I could go through this and I could say, I know this was an error, so let me delete that. And then I could go over here. This was my first exercise that I did. So I could edit this, call it statement 1, or call it exercise 1. And you'll see here it will eventually, when it catches up with things. Let me close this. Oh, it didn't take that time, so let me try that again. There it goes. Okay, so you'll see here I have now exercise 1 is labeled. So I could go through and I could edit this and call this exercise 2. Okay, and then I have that one extra thing down here. That was it. I was showing you what happens when you misspell something. I'm going to delete that out. So this is one way to do it. And like I said, sometimes LiveSQL gets a little slow, so just be patient with it until it will, there we go, now it's done. Okay, so let me go back to over here to my SQL worksheet. And one of the things I could do is I could reset my session. This is the other way to clean up your code. I've saved my code in my notepad file. And now I'm going to click Perform Actions. And it might take a few seconds. Okay, and now what it has done, it's removed all the objects and all the code that I put in here. So what I could do is I could go back out to my notepad, and I'm going to go and copy paste this into my window here. Now, the one thing that I want you to get in the habit of doing is actually formatting your code so that it's readable. Oracle doesn't care about that. It will read anything. You could put everything on one line of code, but in this case, to make it more readable for humans, we're going to change the format a little bit and put the keywords, the reserved words, to the far left, and then indent the other information. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So let me get this here. And then the last one is the order by. Okay, so this is a lot easier to read. The other thing that you should really be doing is putting in comments. The way you do comments is you can do a dash dash. This is just a good habit to get into as a programmer. So anybody who comes after you and tries to look at your code will know what the code is doing, and also making it readable for them. They will appreciate that. So I'm going to click run, make sure everything's working. And it looks like it is. Okay, everything's working. At this point now, I could also save. Make it unlisted. And save it. Okay, and now again, if you scroll down, you'll see you don't actually have to really do any cleanup because there's no extra statements in here. So you can do it either way. You can either clean it up after you create the script and save it, or you can clean it beforehand and then just copy paste your final code in. But I do ask, please go in and label your statements. So I'm going to go and do this one. And that way, when I go to grade, I'm able to view all this and I can run your script. Saving your scripts in this way will actually be really helpful to you throughout the class. So if I click on my scripts over here, you'll notice that I have a number of scripts that I've created. But you'll notice that as we get further into the class, you're going to be building on the previous week's homework assignment. So having that script saved so that you can easily go in and just run it, particularly for like table creation and indexes and sequences and different things we'll be doing, you can keep this here and you kind of consider this like your Google Drive, so to speak, for your scripts. So I do recommend saving your scripts regularly. Make sure that you are clearly labeling them so you know what it is, and so that way when you need to go back in and run a script again before doing additional coding, you'll have that at your fingertips. So then once you have it done, you're going to go over to the Dropbox. And in the text here, you're going to put that link that was in your script. So if I go back to homework one example, I'm going to copy this script here. One second, let me get that correctly. And put it in here. You can also, if you'd like, include what you have here. Again, make sure it's formatted properly. This is not proper format right here, but if you want to put it in the proper format and also include this for me, that would be fine as well. But I do want the link to your LiveSQL. Again, I'm hoping this will help you as you start working with your SQL assignment this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to post to the Ask the Class board, or you can email me or come and see me in my Zoom room on Mondays between 11 and 12. Or if you want to meet with me at another time, just send me an email and we can set up an appointment. I hope you have a good week, and I hope this video will help you as you start doing your coding. Have a great week.